Welcome, Urban Studios executives, to this explainer. Look, we all know your brand is built on pure momentum. Fast fashion is literally all about moving fast, right? Spotting the latest trends, throwing them onto the production line, and just rocketing them out to the retail floors before this season even thinks about turning. But actually, here's a reality check we have to confront today. While your supply chain is zooming along at 100 miles an hour, the legal landscape in Pakistan is rapidly catching up. And honestly, it's building speed bumps. If your compliance doesn't match the breakneck speed of your operations, all that incredible momentum is going to hit a brick wall. So today, we're going to unpack exactly what you need to know to stay ahead of the curve and actually turn compliance into a strategic weapon. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this by looking through the steeple framework, but we're going to isolate strictly the L, the legal factor. We're not talking about broad economics or, abstract social changes here. No, we are zeroing in purely on the specific laws, the hard regulations, and the strict compliance mandates that directly dictate your daily business operations. It defines your immediate risks and ultimately your strategic opportunities for growth. Understanding this legal piece, that's how you protect the house Urban Studios has built, making sure every single new store opening and product line sits on a legally unshakable foundation.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll establish the fast fashion legal landscape. Then, we'll look at the big picture with mega trends, break down the key trends impacting you right this second, gaze into the digital horizon with emerging trends, and finally, figure out how to navigate emerging issues. We'll systematically unpack all these shifts, so don't worry, we've got you covered.
Section 1. The fast fashion legal landscape, setting the baseline for Urban Studios.
Fast fashion is built on speed, but survival requires legally agile supply chains. I really want you to let that sink in. In today's highly scrutinized regulatory environment in Pakistan, compliance is absolutely no longer just some back-office checklist handled by one manager in a corner cubicle. It has to be a core competitive advantage. Just imagine waking up and finding a million rupees of inventory totally frozen at a warehouse, all because of one tiny compliance slip-up with a subcontractor. That's a very real risk. If your supply chain is fast but legally fragile, you're exposed. True legal agility means your compliance mechanisms act in real time, matching the pace of your production seamlessly. Your legal team needs to move just as fast as your design team.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 2, megatrends, the societal shifts in law.
We're tracking three massive megatrends reshaping the entire Pakistani economy. First step, comprehensive labor law overhauls. Pakistan is going through a sweeping modernization of worker protections, heavily targeting the textile and garment sectors. And when I say overhauls, we aren't talking about polite government suggestions. We're talking strict mandates with severe financial penalties for things like fair wages, maximum hours, and factory safety. Second, strengthening consumer protection laws. Regulators are finally catching up to what consumers want. The modern Pakistani shopper is more legally empowered than ever before, armed with real rights regarding returns, product quality, and totally transparent pricing. And third, the nationwide drive for tax formalization. The government is on this relentless mission to drag the undocumented economy right into the tax net. Since formal retail is super visible, well, you're squarely in their sights. Operating in any sort of gray area? Yeah, those days are entirely over.
Section 3, key trends. What hits the bottom line today?
So those were the macro trends. Now, let's look at the three key trends you're dealing with right now on the retail floor, the stuff demanding your immediate attention. Number 1, mandatory FBR POS integration. The Federal Board of Revenue isn't just asking nicely. They are mandating that your point-of-sale systems be directly linked to their central servers. Number 2, strict GST and tax compliance. Because of that direct link, your general sales tax collection is monitored instantly, literally zero margin for error or late reporting. And number 3, real-time retail reporting. This is a game changer. You aren't just tallying up sales at the end of the month anymore. You're reporting them the exact second a customer's credit card clears and they walk out of an Urban Studios store with their shopping bag. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact step-by-step flow of a real-time, legally compliant transaction. Step 1, your customer pays at the point-of-sale register. To them, it feels like a totally normal transaction. But step 2 is where the magic, or honestly, the legal liability, happens. Your system instantly pings the FBR integration. It creates this digital handshake between your store and the government. Then step 3, the GST tax authority verification is generated right on the receipt, almost always as a verifiable QR code. Think about it. A tax inspector could walk in as a mystery shopper, scan that QR code with their phone, and if it doesn't instantly pull up the verified transaction on the FBR server, you're technically violating current tax law. It's seamless, it's immediate, and it is strictly enforced across every single checkout lane you operate.
Section 4. Emerging Trends. Looking to the digital horizon. All right, so what do you need to prepare for next? Here are the 3 emerging trends you absolutely must budget for. First, the total adoption of digital documentation systems. Paper trails are becoming legally obsolete, folks. From your raw fabric suppliers all the way to your warehouse logistics, the government is soon going to expect end-to-end digital tracking of your entire inventory. Second, automated tax archiving. It won't just be about that real-time reporting we just talked about. It's going to be about securely archiving years of digital tax data so an algorithm can audit it in a matter of seconds. And third, e-commerce consumer rights tracking. As Urban Studios pushes harder into online sales, get ready for new regulations tracking exactly how fast you resolve online disputes, process digital refunds, and protect consumer data. If your IT budget for next year doesn't heavily account for these digital shifts, your strategic planning is already lagging behind.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark operational gap your company has to cross. We're actively moving away from the outdated era of manual ledgers and paper trails. Not only are those slow and super prone to human error, but to modern regulators, they look highly suspicious. The mandated future is end-to-end digital documentation systems. Making that leap requires major upfront capital and a whole lot of staff retraining. Your floor managers need to get just as comfortable with digital compliance software as they are with visual merchandising. But here's the thing. This investment is the absolutely crucial only way to guarantee bulletproof compliance. Making that transition from paper to fully integrated digital systems is literally the defining operational challenge for Urban Studios over the next 24 months.
Section 5. Emerging Issues. Navigating new roadblocks and friction points for growth.
Pay really close attention to these 3 emerging issues, because they are serious roadblocks to scaling your brand. First, intellectual property and trademark protection. Think about it. You drop a stunning new design on Monday. By Thursday, some cheaper knockoff is already flooding the local markets. Legally protecting your trademark fast enough is incredibly complex and expensive here in Pakistan. That friction, needing to launch a trend instantly versus waiting for IP paperwork to clear, is a massive headache. Second, the sheer costs of rapid digital integration. Upgrading every single store's POS hardware to meet FBR standards while rolling out new supply chain software at the same time, that eats directly into your profit margins. And third, adapting to agile labor audits. Regulators are doing faster, unannounced audits of manufacturing facilities now. If your subcontractors mess up on safety or wages, that legal and reputational liability traces right back to the Urban Studios brand name. So the crucial point is this: legal compliance is no longer just a hurdle, it's a competitive advantage in Pakistani retail. If you step back and look at all those mega, key, and emerging trends we just walked through, a really clear pattern emerges. Companies that complain, drag their feet, and treat compliance like it's just a tax on doing business, they're going to face constant fines, closures, and supply chain freezes. But the companies that proactively embrace things like FBR POS systems and total digital documentation, they're going to run smoothly, efficiently, and with total peace of mind. Your legal strategy literally dictates your business velocity.
Which leaves us with one final vital question for this leadership team to think about. Is Urban Studios legally agile enough to survive the next regulatory shift? Because I promise you, the laws governing Pakistan's retail sector are not going to stop evolving. The systems you build today will completely decide if you thrive tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now it's time to take these insights back to the boardroom and start building a legally resilient future.